Okay, so this time we're going to learn about making announcements using DTMF codes and building complex formulas. The first thing we want to do is, if you've still got your rules up from last time, what we want to do is we want to clear those out. So we're going to go to File and make a new configuration. And that'll clear out those rules right there. For making an announcement, the first step is setting up the announcement that you want to make. So we're going to go over to the Speech tab at the top here. This is where we'll actually add the announcement sound file that we're going to use. So we'll click Add in the bottom left here. And here we can make a label for our announcement. We're just going to call this a test announcement. And we're going to choose the sound file that we need. I've already got a few files set up here. You need to use a sound file that's in the special MuLA encoding format. Otherwise it's not going to work. So I've got my announcement right here. I'm just going to open that and click OK. And we've got our announcement set up right here. Anytime you add a new announcement, you're going to need to click this Apply button so that we can actually use it from the rules. So we'll go over here on the left, the Formulas tab. That's our main page. And what we want to do is we want to make an announcement whenever we get a very specific DTMF code. So we're going to make a new rule, and for our trigger formula we're going to check the box up here at the top left for DTMF code, and that'll let us type in whatever DTMF formula we want. So let's say whenever we get the code 123, we want to make an announcement. So click OK there, and on our action side we actually have this announcement box in the bottom. If you check that, you have this drop down box that'll actually have a list of all the announcements you've set up on your Speech tab. We only have one right now, so we'll just use that and click OK. So now if we go to the simulation, we can actually go up to the top here where we can generate DTMF tones, and we'll create a string called 123, and we're just gonna send that DTMF tone.
This is a test.
And we actually hear the announcement over the speakers. It'll also display down here at the bottom the name of the announcement that was made. So using this you can test to see whenever an announcement is supposed to be made if it actually works properly. We also want to look at building complex formulas. Suppose we only want to make an announcement when two inputs become true at the same time. What we can do is, let's go in and edit this rule. Instead of whenever we get this DTMF code, say we only want to make it when input 1 and input 2 are active at the same time. So we'll check is active on both of those, and you'll notice at the bottom here it says we have to select a logic operator. Those are going to be found in the top left over here. We have a whole list of them. We're going to want to use the logic AND right here so that whenever they're both true at the same time, this rule becomes true and triggers the action. So if I click OK there, and I've already still got my announcement set up on the right side, if I go back to the simulation, when I trigger input 1, nothing happens. When I trigger input 2, we're going to hear the announcement.
This is a test.
And we can see that it's working. Now if I uncheck one of these inputs and
this is a test,
then that's going to take it from a false state to a true state. What that means is whenever the rule is in a false state, as in input 1 and input 2 are active is not a true statement, then that means that we're in a false state. And whenever we go from a false state to a true state, that's when it activates. So that means we don't have to wait for both of these inputs to go inactive for it to reset the announcement.
This is a test.
We only have to wait for one of them. Alright, let's look at a different way to use the same rule. What we want to do is we'll go in and edit this, and instead of having both input 1 and input 2 on this page, we're going to uncheck input 2 and change the logic operator back to none and click OK. Now instead this time we're going to use the second trigger condition box here. We can set up a logic operator between these two boxes, and we'll actually have a whole new set of inputs that we can look at. This allows you to make some more complex formulas. For example, if you have input 1 and input 2 ORed together in the first box, you can AND them with another input from the second box if you like. You can really do whatever you want there. So I'm just going to check input 2 here and say that is active, and we'll click OK. And if I go back to the simulation, we're going to have the same effect, but we've done it in a different way, and that just shows you what you can do with this.
This is a test.
And we still have our announcement right there, so you can see that it's working properly. For the next video, we're going to look at input and output labels, as well as a few tricks for making unique configurations.